My name is Sam Goodman, and this personal story was inspired by the artwork of Keith Doles called Infrastructure. In a world filled with so much diversity, expression, love, and hate, it is important to establish who you are as an individual and where your roots, values, and morals lie. Each and every individual on the face of this planet is unique in some way, shape, or form. Knowing who you are and who you want to be, regardless of what others think, is the infrastructure or root of a functional society. There will be times where you are told that you aren't good enough, not pretty enough, not tall enough, you name it. However, it is how you pick yourself back up that establishes your character. My childhood was so far from the societal expectation, but also so close to what I could have ever asked for. I was adopted from China 3 days after my first birthday by my incredible parents who felt a calling to adopt a young girl whose biological parents could no longer care for her. Not because they didn't have the deepest love imaginable, but because it wasn't practical for their current situation. I think about where I would be in life today had my parents not taken that massive leap of faith to provide me with the best childhood and opportunities to thrive. It is no easy feat to adapt to a new lifestyle in a new country with a new language and new people. I was fortunate enough to go to several amazing schools with classmates and teachers who made the assimilation and learning experience worthwhile. With that being said, getting a proper education with good grades was not all sunshine and rainbows. More times than not, I have had to work for my grades more than the average person, I believe, as I was not born naturally smart or gifted. I was not one that could show up on test day and wing it. I had to actually study the material or reteach myself. There have been countless amounts of times where I received an F on a test or a B in a class. Not that there's anything wrong with failing a test or getting a B, because grades don't define you, but it's more so the extreme standards I have set for myself since I was a child and the gut-wrenching thought of failure when you see a red F on your paper. In fact, I had a reading tutor for the majority of elementary school because I was never able to grasp stories or what they were about. At the time, I felt somewhat stupid that I could not understand the basic plot of an entry-level story. But looking back, it's unrealistic that you will be born with natural talents in every sport or subject. I also felt as if I was not meeting expectations when I saw the low level of satisfactory on my report card. While I felt down about my abilities at the time, I kept pushing and learned to embrace my fault. Life will always have highs and lows, but it's how you balance them out that will make you stronger in the end. Given that I am currently a first-year college student, there's a lot to say about how I got to where I am and what my education entailed prior to being accepted to a university. For example, I applied to my dream school in Florida only to get rejected. It felt like I wasn't smart enough or accepted for my faults. It wasn't necessarily a feeling of pity, but more so a feeling of defeat when I knew that it was possible for others to get into the school. However, I realized that my education is my journey, and it's impossible to compare your smarts or grades to anyone else because you are nobody but yourself. Nevertheless, I took that as a sign to move forward and find something that was more of my calling, which is why I'm so grateful that I found UNF. UNF was not on my top list of schools when I started the search, but as I look back to what I envisioned my college career being, I don't think I could imagine myself at any other university. 5-year-old me would have never believed that I was accepted to UNF as a business management major, where I've been provided with incredible leadership opportunities and the ability to meet some of my lifelong friends and mentors. It is the moments of defeat that make you stronger in the end, and that has been the depiction of my life journey. It's also a matter of trusting, waiting, embracing, and enjoying all the uncertainty and possibilities of becoming what and who you want to be. Life is also about taking risks and doing unconventional activities that you wouldn't regularly do. When you stay sheltered, it's difficult as you grow up to know anything different. For me personally, I am pretty introverted compared to most of my friends. I am also an only child, so I relied a lot on my parents to take me out to fun activities on the weekends, such as fishing, going to the farmer's market, shopping, and hanging out at my grandfather's condominium pool. I love my life as an only child, and still do, because I felt such a close connection to my parents that is still evident today. With that being said, once I got to college, I found that I really had to get outside of my comfort zone to meet new people. I'm one of those people that has a small group of several close ride or die friends versus a bunch of friends that I don't talk to or see all the time. Furthermore, all of my friends went to different colleges throughout Florida, which has made the transition into finding new friends even harder. Nevertheless, I have forced myself to go out and do things that I would not have done or thought to have done myself. Whether that's trying that new food, trying the new hobby, or going on vacation to a place that I haven't been. Regardless of what that is, it's important to seek out adventure and friendships. Ultimately, life is what you make of it. You will be riding the high one moment, feeling on top of the Eiffel Tower. You will then feel at your lowest of lows where you want to sit and do nothing all day, and that is all okay. It is okay to feel those emotions, good and bad. It is okay to vent to someone about something that is going on in your personal life. It is okay to go to a nice restaurant and eat all the good food. It's also okay to sit on the beach and read all day. Whatever you want to do is okay and part of your adventure. Make memories with yourself, but also don't be afraid to make memories with others. Regardless of if you are praised for your English essay or told that you weren't accepted to your dream job, it is all okay. Riding the wave of life and all that it entails is part of your life story. Do what you want for you and no one else. Don't be afraid to stand up or stand out in favor of your own beliefs. You are unique and your life journey is unique, which no one can take away.
And this is my response to infrastructure. At the first level, you will suffer. Misspelled words and charcoal leaking out from a hairspray can. Failing, falling. At the sixth level, the midnight oil will burn from within you. A buzzing, electric 3 a.m. At the seventh, eighth, and ninth level, you will face both the critic and the imposter. The imposter cowers under the critic's smile and brims with tears at their dismissive hand gesture. You will have to wash the red ink from the imposter's hands and caress their face in your calloused hands, forgiving a vulnerable vessel. At the 10th, you will take a Sharpie marker onto canvas, not because you are Narcissus, but because the inaction is art's worst enemy. There must be bravery here. Do not wave the white flag within your own mind. By the 50th, you will have fuel for your fire. There is clean fuel of grounding roots, past successes, past pulling it offs. Then there's dirty fuel of resentment, of I'll show you spirit. Both will burn onto the canvas, around the edges and underneath its frame. When the elevator reaches level 102, you will see the gridwork beneath you, the laying of the land. There are your sufferings, here are your triumphs. This won't last long. It is evanescent. That does not mean it does not matter. Breathe in the sunlight before you return back down, knowing only the infrastructure will remain.
Hello, my name is Hannah, and this is my creative response to infrastructure by Keith Doles. Infrastructure. What is it to build infrastructure? I look up to the skyscrapers and dark silhouettes painted across the once barren canvas. Your work was not selected. Work harder. We regret to inform you, splashed in hues of blue. Words build up infrastructure too. Dark metal and fragile glass. Letters covering their expanse. All-encompassing, suffocating, pressure-ridden, heartbreaking. Uttered long before to lost generations. The sky's the limit, yet it is what you make of it. Paint. Keep painting. Words can build up infrastructure too. They can build you up, then tear you down. Yet society says, stay around. Maybe next time, another day. Tomorrow will be okay. Words can build infrastructure too. A sum of precarious parts, tough as steel but see-through thin. A work of art, broken and rubbed in. It's not good enough. You should have made it stand out. Is this what you've been going on about? I wonder if that's what you heard, painting your truth for others to see. Bearing all your insecurities, ones that we all have underneath an exterior, ache into the buildings you brought to life. As we grapple for success amidst all our failures, you created something beautiful throughout the discouragement. The work is so good. We invite you to submit. Happiness, hope. I stand in front of art and am overcome. I seek out the truth, splayed out in bold letters, central to your world, central to Keith Doles. Writers form metaphors too. They slip between the lines. reconstructing larger meanings, a trek into the implicit and sublime, not much different to the buildings you left behind. So I sing an ode to infrastructure. Only that infrastructure is you.
My name's Jennifer Singletary. My poem is Be Resilient, Be Brave. It is in response to the painting Infrastructure. Society's negative connotations plague my manifestations. It's just not good enough, they say. The words pierce my fragile heart as my journey just began to start. Time passing through the years, I still hustle and grind with my fears, hoping this time it'll be cheers. Bleakness seeped into my conscious mind again. We regret to inform you, but we have gone with another candidate, they say. As the phantom's words whisper to my ear, my creativity suffers. It was then that I choked on fear. I stare at the letter of words that begin to mock my potential. Am I the only one who can see my success? Then I begin to ponder more. Am I good enough? Can I make it? Are all the risks worth taking? Or am I faking? Am I the person I thought I was? Why do I need others' validation? The infrastructure of my mind crumbled. I had just fumbled time and time again. This was my break. This was my chance. But it was only a lingering dance. No fulfillment, but I won't give up. I need a new foundation. The painting called out, be resilient, be brave. I then continued to wonder, the self-doubt hurting my manifestations. I can no longer tell where I start or end until I look at the mirror trying to find my silhouette. It's my life, I might as well take the bet. Gambling with my pen, I write a phrase, be resilient, be brave. My motto to start the day, and I thought, what if I shared my pain? Rebuilding myself is the only way. My works get better every day and night. I must keep pushing through this fight. Someone will understand the words I write. Someone will love the art I do. Someone will need the same push through. It just might be you. I keep working and working till I peak. This satisfaction I'm sure to reap. Fans begin to praise. Dope. This work is so good, they say. The vulnerability in every piece I create comes from my pain, hoping to relate to someone else's pain. Your work spoke to me, it moved me, they say. I climbed as high as a skyscraper with feelings of affirmation. It created more deep positive manifestations. Now confident and intelligent, my work speaks for itself. It is the gratification that I gain. I seek my truth through my pain. Be resilient, be brave. Just take it day by day.
All right. My name is Savannah Smith, and this is my creative writing response to the painting Infrastructure. Words. They can build you up or tear you down. They have power. So much power, in fact, that if you hear them often enough, you start to believe they're true. Throughout my life, I've realized that the words with the strongest forces are the ones that tease you, taunt you, and keep you paralyzed. These words are like a sudden gust of wind, so intense that they knock you off your feet. People who voice insults and doubts want you to believe that you are not enough. Not smart enough, not talented enough, not creative enough, not good enough. They want you to believe that your work is not sensational, exquisite, vivid, unique, jaw-dropping, or breathtaking. It is simply inadequate and unoriginal. In other words, you are nothing. A few weeks ago, I spent hours upon hours putting all of my blood, sweat, and tears into a painting that fully expresses who I am. A beautiful depiction of all my thoughts and emotions. Then finally, the day came when I was able to show off the piece that I'm most proud of. After all, painting is my greatest love and passion. At this showcase, I noticed that the judges took one quick glance at my masterpiece and turned away. A few days later, they said, "Thank you for your submission. However, your work was not chosen. Unfortunately, we decided to go in a different direction." All I could think about was giving up at that moment. I've had so many similar experiences of this that my dreams of being a professional artist seem completely out of reach. People's words strike me down over and over again, and I've learned to live with the anxiety and fear that things will never get better. I may look composed on the outside, but on the inside, it feels like the weight of the world is resting on my shoulders, waiting for me to collapse beneath it. I found that it's easier to accept defeat and allow negativity to take control of my life. When you've been knocked down so many times, what's the point in fighting? I'm going to breathe for a second. Okay. It's 7 a.m., and I stand at the edge of a skyscraper looking down at the world below me. The sun has not yet risen high enough to light the city, but I can make out the dark figures on the sidewalk. But I can make out the dark figures on the sidewalk. Clusters of men and women on their way to work. Everything looks so small from up here, so insignificant, like little specks of black paint on a white canvas. I pick out the muffled sounds one by one and identify them. There's a siren on my left, construction noises on my right, and everywhere below me, cars are accelerating and braking. So many people are rushing to get to where they need to be. I start to wonder if they're heading to their dream jobs. With this thought, I feel jealousy radiate throughout my body. Ever since I graduated art school a few years ago, I feel like I've just been going through the motions and not actually getting anywhere. It's like walking aimlessly on a dark path with no light in sight. I can feel myself getting slower and slower due to the paranoia that I will never reach the end. I remember there was a time I used to think I was one of the greatest painters in the city. It's because I believed in myself and I had people who believed in me. In college, countless professors would compliment my work. I remember Professor Brooks would always say, "This is the kind of art that makes a person change a whole room." Every time he looked at my paintings, he would beam with pride, and it was obvious that my work moved him. But unfortunately, art doesn't have that effect on everyone. I'm in the real world now, and in the real world, everything isn't sunshine and rainbows. The world is merciless, cruel, and unapologetic. It drains you of your energy and your happiness. Whatever confidence I had in myself in college is now completely gone. Who should I blame for that? Myself, the judges and interviewers, maybe both. Professor Brooks would be so disappointed in me right now if he could read my thoughts and see what I'm about to do. But the voices have become too overbearing. I can hear every humiliating insult that people have cast my way over the years. They mock me and torment me from the minute I wake up each morning. I know these voices are just flashbacks of my past, of every traumatic experience I've ever had. But they replay in my head constantly, and I can't silence them, no matter how hard I try. They were most intense at my interview a few weeks ago. I walked into a fancy building confident that everything would work out. But once I sat in that chair and was face to face with the man that determined my acceptance, the fear started to creep in. The doubts clouded my head like a thick fog over cold water. I'm going to say that again. The doubts clouded my head like a thick fog over cold water. The voice was low. It whispered, "Move on. You're wasting your time doing this." I recognized the voice, a boy who was in my art class in my sophomore year of college, a boy who made me never want to show my face again because he would make me feel so worthless. I tried to concentrate on what the interviewer was saying, but the voice was so distracting. I could feel the words trying to take hold of me. They wanted to make me their puppet. They wanted to scare me into leaving the room. I could hear laughter, the same cold-hearted laughter as the judge that looked at my artwork in a competition a year ago. His mockery still disables me to this day. After each exhale, I whispered, "Go away," hoping that it would silence the doubts, even just for a minute. There was so much noise in my head, and I knew it was affecting the way I was acting during the interview. All of a sudden, the voices disappeared, and I heard with clarity, "Ma'am, are you feeling all right? You seem to be having trouble hearing my questions." The man was looking at me with his head tilted and eyes full of concern. He then asked, "Do you want to continue this interview? I don't have any other available times this month, but maybe we could try to reschedule for a later date." The voices came back sharp and louder than before. "Move on. You're not good enough. You can't do this." I remembered answering, "Sorry, sir. I just have a little headache. You can continue. I'm listening." Why these voices were antagonizing me, I really couldn't tell you. As I said earlier, I was confident before that interview. There was no reason for me to be overwhelmed by so much negativity. I think it's because everything I do in life is constantly critiqued. I've heard way too many people say, "You're supposed to do it this way," and "You're not doing it right." Even some former classmates would ask, "How come you paint those things?" There have been many days I've wondered why I'm putting myself through so much stress to create works that people don't appreciate. I want to be a professional artist because art is meant to be something beautiful, a way for me to express myself. Of course, I don't expect everyone to love my art, but that has never been the goal. I want people to be moved by my paintings and to interpret them in their own way. I want to be someone and make a difference. I want to be enough. It's 7:30 a.m., and I'm standing on the edge of the building, still contemplating whether to give life up entirely. No one has noticed that I'm up here, but that's to be expected. New York is a busy place with busy people. The wind is strong up here. A big gust could certainly throw me off my balance and send me tumbling down. Honestly, that would be easier than making the decision for myself. I hear the whispers blowing in the wind. Not enough. Move on. Unfortunately, work harder. A mixture of voices of everyone in my past who didn't believe in me. I will have to gather up the last bit of strength I have to move myself forward, to silence insults forever. I take a deep breath, one of my last breaths. This is it. I look down at the world below me one last time, a place I used to love, a place where I used to think I could become anything I wanted to be. I look up to the sky, which has stunning patches of orange, white, yellow, and blue. Something so beautiful no painting could possibly replicate it. A true masterpiece by the Creator. I'm about to ease my right leg forward over the edge when, all of a sudden, gold light hits my face. A single ray is peeking out through the clouds and showering my body with warmth. Another ray forms to light up the building to my left, and the word "seek" glitters in front of me. It moves to the building on my right, and the word "out" lights up. Then lastly, the building directly in front of me reads "truth," and it shines brightest of all of them. The sun has risen now, and I am face to face with these three words. I realize I am being told to seek out truth, but what could that mean? Then it hits me. The voices I'm hearing are lies. They have no truth to them. They don't have to be my reality. The only reason they've hindered me from reaching my dreams is because I've allowed them to. I can't give them power or control. I finally understand that the only way to drive out the negativity is to remind myself that they are lies. If someone tells me, "You are unoriginal and your work is not enough," I must remind myself that I am resilient, brilliant, confident, and intelligent. When someone asks me to stop trying, I must remember to keep pushing. My advice to you is, don't listen to the noise. It's debilitating. It's debilitating. Remember who you are and what you've done to get to this point. Allow yourself to feel with confidence that things will get better. You must believe that you have the ability to achieve your personal and professional goals. As you can probably tell, I didn't step off that building. Instead, I created a painting the same day to depict my experience on that skyscraper. I painted the voices that paralyzed me on the bottom of the canvas, and the top contains words that I will focus on for the rest of my life. I created this painting to remind myself and you that we must focus on the good in order to move forward. Because of this painting, I am now a professional artist in the city that I love. I pray that my work helps you as much as it has helped me. Like myself, you must learn to seek out truth, as your reality is whatever you make it.